Pompeii is synonymous with one of history's most infamous natural disasters. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD buried the bustling Roman city beneath layers of volcanic ash and pumice, freezing its inhabitants in their final moments. While the ruins themselves have offered a remarkable snapshot of Roman life, the preserved bodies of Pompeii's victims provide an even more intimate glimpse into who they were. Today, modern technology is allowing archaeologists to look beneath the plaster casts of these victims in unprecedented detail. Using advanced computed tomography, or CT scanning, researchers have uncovered new secrets hidden within the skeletal remains of those who perished. When excavations at Pompeii began in the 18th century, archaeologists noticed that solidified volcanic ash had formed molds around many of the victims' bodies. As the organic material decomposed, hollow cavities were left behind, preserving their final postures and even impressions of their clothing. In 1863, Italian archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli pioneered a revolutionary technique. By pouring liquid plaster into these cavities, he created exact replicas of the victims in their final moments. This method was essential, as without it, the fragile voids would eventually collapse and be lost forever. Fiorelli's technique transformed the understanding of the disaster. Archaeologists no longer uncovered only skeletal remains, but the full forms of people who had lived and died in Pompeii. The plaster casts revealed haunting details: families huddled together, individuals caught mid-stride, and others lying motionless, overcome by toxic fumes or crushed by collapsing buildings. Over the decades, around 100 victims have been preserved in plaster, including pet dogs and other animals. Yet the true scale of the tragedy was far greater. It is estimated that between 10,000 and 25,000 people in Pompeii and nearby Herculaneum died during the eruption. Despite their value, the plaster casts had a major limitation. The plaster was opaque, concealing the skeletal remains inside. For decades, archaeologists searched for ways to study the interiors without damaging the casts. That opportunity came with a major restoration and scanning project involving 86 plaster casts. Researchers used computerized axial tomography, CAT scans, the same technology used in modern hospitals. CT scanners capture hundreds of X-ray slices, which computers then assemble into detailed three-dimensional models. This allows archaeologists to see through the plaster without disturbing what lies beneath. The results were astonishing. One of the most surprising discoveries involved dental health. Many victims had well-preserved teeth with few cavities or signs of decay. Researchers attribute this to the Roman diet, which was low in processed sugars and high in fiber, fruits, vegetables, grains, olive oil, and modest amounts of fish and meat. However, the scans also revealed heavy tooth wear, likely caused by tiny particles of stone and grit introduced during grain grinding with traditional stone mills. Another revelation came from a cast discovered in the Forum in 1963, long believed to represent a pregnant woman due to its rounded abdomen. CT scans showed that the individual was likely not pregnant and may not even have been female. Researchers noted a long-standing tendency to interpret protruding bellies as pregnancy, leading to romanticized but inaccurate conclusions. The scans also enabled detailed examinations of individual victims. One cast depicts a small boy, estimated to be around 4 years old, lying near an adult man and woman, presumed to be his parents, and beside an even younger infant resting on the woman's lap. While the plaster captured the outline of the child's clothing, CT scans revealed his skeleton beneath. High-resolution 3D reconstructions even preserved subtle details of his facial structure. New evidence has also reshaped understanding of how people died. Beyond suffocation from ash and toxic gases or thermal shock from pyroclastic flows, scans revealed widespread cranial trauma and severe head injuries. This suggests collapsing buildings played a major role. As volcanic debris accumulated on rooftops and earthquakes shook the city, structures failed, crushing those sheltering inside. The scans also challenged long-held assumptions about who perished. It was once believed that the victims were mainly the elderly, infirm, women and children, those least able to escape. Instead, skeletal evidence shows a cross-section of the entire population. The disaster struck indiscriminately, catching people of all ages and physical conditions with overwhelming speed. Intriguing clues have also emerged regarding the timing of the eruption. The traditional date of August 24, 79 AD comes from one version of Pliny the Younger's letters. However, archaeological evidence, such as autumn fruits, heating braziers, and now CT scans showing thick, heavy woven clothing, suggest a cooler season, possibly October or November. This lends additional weight to the theory that Vesuvius erupted later in the year. Other scans have revealed equally compelling details. In some cases, entire skeletons, spines, ribs, and pelvises were clearly visible within the casts. Advanced imaging techniques even allowed researchers to digitally simulate soft tissue and muscle structures, offering a glimpse of what these individuals may have looked like in life. Although plaster remains the standard preservation method, alternatives have been tested. In 1984, one skeleton was cast in resin, capturing extraordinary detail, including hair and fabric textures. However, resin is expensive and difficult to use, making plaster the more practical choice. The CT scanning project has opened new doors for non-invasive archaeological research. Digital models allow scientists to conduct virtual autopsies, identify injuries and diseases, and preserve the data indefinitely without harming the remains. As technology continues to advance, future discoveries may bring us even closer, perhaps one day allowing full facial reconstructions that let us look into the eyes of Pompeii's ancient residents, bridging nearly 2,000 years of history. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest content. Share your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you next time.